My oh my, what a welcome surprise. So, you guys, this is gonna be my movie review of the movie Black Adam. Now, just in case you didn't see my YouTube short that I posted yesterday, I'm gonna put it up here. But I went to the movie theaters, and let me just preface everything I'm about to say that I went into the movie theaters thinking that it wasn't gonna be a good movie. You know, I had one of my boys. He's a big movie buff, and he was just bombing the movie, just bombing it. He just like, well, to be fair to him, he was telling me that critics were bombing the movie, and that the storyline was weak, and that if you're going into it seeking a good storyline, you're going to be disappointed. Also, the supporting characters around The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, was disappointing. Now, let me just say this, right? Like, I'm doing a movie review, right? And I myself, I actually value reviews, right? I do, because just like you, I too am a consumer, and I don't want to waste my money unnecessarily. With that being said, I didn't pay to go watch the movie. So my boys were taking me out. I was like, all right, it's a free trip to the movies. I might as well. If you're one of those people that value what movie critics have to say or reviews in general, let me just tell you this. Don't do yourself that disservice. This movie was absolutely awesome. Again, The Rock was great, fantastic. We live in a world today where, I'm gonna just be quite honest with you guys, masculinity is just totally out of the picture. I mean, there's all this effeminate men walking around, and the feminist agenda is pretty strong. It's like it's all over media. I like to call it like the new affirmative action, right? Just in case, go look it up. Just in case you guys don't know about affirmative action, but I feel like all this stuff that panders to feminism and the LGBT movement, and I have nothing against them, right? But it's like it has to be put into everything. And here's a movie where there was none of that. It was just pure traditional. They stuck to the source material, which I'm a big fan of, right? Especially for comic book movies. You don't gotta go far and create your own storyline. You don't gotta do it. There's so much source material. You gotta just read the comic books. And this is for all you directors out there. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. You have people for years, they came up with a bunch of storylines for these characters. Just stick to the source material. But that's not a here nor there. The movie was, in my personal opinion, was executed very well. I mean, The Rock was funny, and not in a way where he was trying too hard. It was just genuinely funny because he was just so masculine. Like, there's this one scene where I think the mom was not trying to teach her son violence, and The Rock is just like, well, I understand, so maybe the father's gonna teach him violence, right? And the mom's like, nah, the father is dead. He's just like, so who's gonna teach the boy violence? And it's crazy. I'm not The Rock, right? So I'm not doing that scene any justice. But it speaks to just the fact that, back in an old cult, like back in the days, men had to be able to know how to defend themselves. And I'm sorry, violence is just part of the game, right? Like, we had to know how to fight. So here we have this mom trying to shelter this boy, and The Rock, who, if you don't know the storyline, I'll just, I'm gonna digress a bit, but I'm still on track, right? Apparently, without spoiling too much, the Rock, Black Adam, he kind of got, if you want to call it, resurrected. He didn't die per se. He was more like in hibernation. But he's from a distant time in the past. And that time, that the world is called Kondak, right? I don't know. It's not a real place. But it's obvious by the inhabitants of that land that they were going for a very Eastern culture. Like it's not meant to look like America at all, and you could tell by the personnel or the actors of Kondak. All of them look like they were from the Eastern world, maybe the Middle East, but who knows, right? But that was clearly the race of people that they were aiming for, and we already know that over there in the East, they are extremely masculine. They have very traditional values. So going back, them resurrecting a Black Adam, you can see that him growing up in that time frame and in that region of the world, you can kind of see why he's all about violence. Okay, we got to be able to fight to defend ourselves. We got to be able to, you know what I'm saying? And the mom, who's from the more modern era, she's more influenced by, all the things that the Western European culture has influenced and dominated over the whole world, right? So what was interesting, though, was that The Rock really was showing strong masculine traits, as he usually does in movies, but he was doing it in a way that was culturally relevant. And then you had the Justice Society that came, and it was clear that they were, I guess, supposed to represent America. And they came to this country, Kondak, because Black Adam had been resurrected. And they were trying to impose their philosophy on things. Mind you, the people of Kondak were being oppressed, and they were in bondage to the elites, the soldiers, and all this stuff, right? So these people wanted freedom. And Black Adam, although his methods were a bit extreme, he was killing people all over the place. The Justice Society was trying to teach him all these altruistic values of, the common superhero like Superman, Batman. Don't kill the bad guys, right? Mind you, by not killing them, they're going to continue to be loose and run rampant on the earth, right? So that mindset was always very stupid, and I think that's why anti-heroes is such a popular concept. You have Wolverine, you have the Punisher. In DC world, you have Black Adam. So these anti-heroes are starting to get a lot of popularity because people are tired of the whole. They're tired of the noise. It doesn't work. But I think this actually speaks to why the critics didn't like the movie. This is just my personal opinion, but I think the movie didn't fit the agenda of what they're trying to promote in today's society, where people need to be docile, where people need to not fight for equality, just be passive and accept tyranny. So this movie calling for, action and for people to actually fight back, I think that's not something to be promoted, and I think that's the true reason why the movie didn't do good. But if you look at the actual audience reviews, you'll see that the audience reviews, I think it's sitting about a 90 in Rotten Tomatoes, whatever the case is. So it's clear that the audience actually likes the movie. So what's the disconnect between the audience and the actual movie reviewers or the movie critics, right? So I'm gonna stick with the audience. But yeah, you guys, the movie was absolutely done well. Now, if there was other aspects of the movie too. The symbolism, man. There was this one dope scene where what's his name? Hawkman was fighting Black Adam, right? And Hawkman, being part of the Justice Society, again, he has a very Western European, American mindset, right? And he was so angry with Black Adam, The Rock, for killing the enemies, and they fighting, and The Rock is clearly way stronger than Hawkman, and he was just touring around with him. And there's this one scene in particular where they're fighting inside an apartment, and Black Adam is just mopping the floor with Hawkman. And what's so crazy is they showing you these posters of Superman, Batman, the Flash, so all these Justice League characters, and while Black Adam is tossing Hawkman around the room, you see the posters of these superheroes being torn to pieces. So a lot of it could be, I think it stands twofold. One, it could allude to the eventual, or potential, I should say, I won't say eventual, potential fight that may come in the future with Black Adam versus the Justice League. But I think more important, I think again it speaks to the fact that Black Adam is willing to do the things that the traditional superheroes aren't willing to do, which is kill. So by him tearing up those posters, and it wasn't intentional, by the way, it was just a byproduct of fighting in the apartment. But because he did that, I think it's very symbolic. Like, okay, he is totally juxtaposed to the ideologies of the Justice League because he's actually willing to kill. So I think that was absolutely phenomenal. So let me just come out with it. Right now, the movie, I would give it a solid 8. So to address the storyline, it wasn't like mega fantastic, but I think it was good enough. I think you guys are going to be very surprised how good the movie is. One thing that's very interesting, the name of some of the characters elude me, but the biggest thing that I really want to stress out is I believe it was the little boy's uncle. And so just to give you, again, just to clarify some things, the mom is the one that spoke in that ancient language and resurrected Black Adam. That mom has a son. So just to give you, there's the Justice Society, there's this mom, there's her son, and the mom had a brother. That's the guy's name, I don't know, but he was the main villain, right? And what was so interesting is that he ended up capturing the son, right, his nephew. And it was so crazy because apparently Black Adam, the only thing that could really stop him is Ethereum. So it's this force that he's unable to penetrate through, and that's also the force that they use to lock him up. So what's crazy is that here you had the man, the uncle, and he was about to kill the boy, but he was behind the Ethereum wall, right? And it's very obvious that he could have killed the boy. He didn't have to, press the button and unleash the or open up the Ethereum wall. But the reason why he did it, it was all for a greater purpose, because even prior to him capturing the boy told him, hey, Black Adam is gonna find you, right? And the uncle told the boy, responded and said, oh, I'm counting on it. And when you hear that, you're just like, okay, that's odd. But what made it so beautiful is that he was counting on it because, and just spoiler alert, so I'm letting you guys know this right now. He was counting on it because he actually wanted Black Adam to kill him so that he could gain passage to the underworld. And when he got to the underworld, that's when he received the power to become this demon deity, creature. And that had a lot of spiritual implications in and of itself. Like you could see the 5-pointed star, the Baphomet. If you guys know about that, you do your research. So there definitely was a lot of symbolism, even from the spiritual side of that. But the reason why I think that was so good is because, again, when you're watching the movie, especially in the beginning, you're thinking to yourself, like, is it really that the Justice Society, Black Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, and then you had Adam. Really, those 4 characters are gonna fight, Black Adam, and they're gonna actually pose an actual threat to him. So there was a disconnect in the beginning. Not that the battles were bad; the fight scenes were actually pretty good, but you just knew in the back of your mind, if you know anything about comic books, that Black Adam is way out of their league. So we're kind of like asking ourselves, like, why in the world would he be fighting them? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this the best that they could have come up with? So going back to the uncle and him turning into that demon is just like, oh, okay, finally we have like an actual threat that can actually, you know, combat with Black Adam. So I love everything that they did there. I'm not gonna spoil it too much because that's not the point of this video. I really just want to give just my account of the movie. The storyline I think is underratedly good. So I think you might, if you listening to the viewers, they might tell you that the movie is trash, the storyline is not good. Don't listen to them. The storyline is actually pretty good considering it's an origin movie on top of that, right? Like, there's a lot that needs to be established. But whatever is going to come down the pipeline, which if you, you know, all comic book movies, they usually show you this great scene after the credits. So, again, here's another spoiler, but Superman comes, so it definitely shows us that he's gonna be potentially fighting Superman. We don't know what's gonna happen, but again, and you know, just touching on that, I think it was Amanda Wallace, right? In the end of the movie, she's telling Black Adam, like, you better not leave this country. Like, this is your prison. Like, the country is your prison, Kondak, right? Which was odd to me because Black Adam, first of all, he was already in the country. It's not like she spoke to him when he was outside of that country. So, from my understanding, Black Adam had no intentions to even leave. He had no intentions to do anything other than rule the people of Kondak. So here's Amanda Wallace threatening him for no reason and saying, "You better stay in Kondak, or else we're gonna be forced to send superheroes," right? So, lo and behold, she sends Superman. And it's good from the standpoint of the battle that potentially may occur in the next movie, you know, Superman versus Black Adam. But again, it just speaks to this European mindset, which is just so messed up. Like, why are you trying to invade another country that they're not doing anything whatsoever? And the people in the country love Black Adam. They were calling him champion the whole time in the movie, which is, you know, I think they did that purposely, you know, like The Rock, the people's champion, if you guys know wrestling. But why would you invade another country and you know, send Superman? Like, so it's like, I don't like the play, because I actually do like Superman, but I just don't like the way they're using him as, like, you know, it's very clear to me that he's supposed to be like this symbol of America and what America stands for, and here you are disrupting with the politics of another country. It speaks of imperialism all over again, but maybe that's what they're going for. So again, I think the movie was very well written. I think the fighting was awesome, and I think without being too disturbing for the children, because I don't think it was rated R, if I recall, but they found a real good way of having Black Adam still be that dude that's willing to kill without going overboard. So for the most part, I don't think there was blood in the movie, but it was very clear, and you can even see it in the short that I posted in the beginning of the video, that this man was willing to do anything possible to exact what he believed was justice. But yeah, guys, that's all I really got. If you like this video review, if you thought I was trying to be as honest as possible, I wasn't trying to, you know, add no fluff to it. If you enjoyed the review, please like, comment down below, hit that notification bell, and please subscribe. That's a big one. Please subscribe, you guys. All that YouTube stuff really does help a lot. All right, you guys. With that being said, Blue Falcon over and out.
Game to win. Game hard.